Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we're talking about Descartes' evil demon. Think of it as like the dreaming argument, but on steroids. So, Descartes, who was a philosopher and mathematician and scientist in the 1500s, give or take, came up with this argument. He was trying to think about what he knows for sure, what he knows absolutely for sure. And he said, well, maybe I'm dreaming. I can worry about that. That's a reason to be skeptical. But I know that I dream precisely because I know that sometimes I'm not dreaming, I'm awake. So I know some of my experiences have to be real. So I know that tables and chairs must be real, that my family must be real, because I know some of my experiences of those things must have been from when I was awake. So I can still know some of that stuff. I can still know some things about the external world. Descartes thought there was a limit to the dreaming argument. The dreaming argument can give you reason to be skeptical about what's happening around you in the external world right now, but it can't make you skeptical about your entire history of experience of the external world. It can't make you skeptical about the very existence of people or the very existence of chairs and birds and plants. And so Descartes thought we can take this worry further. There's a bigger worry here. And he said, okay, suppose that instead of dreaming, you're being actively deceived by a powerful evil demon. Right? He said, suppose that instead of dreaming, you're being actively deceived by a powerful evil demon. He said, look, what are the odds that there is a powerful evil demon trying to deceive you? Probably low. But can you completely rule it out? No. There's no mathematical proof that the number of evil demons in the world is zero. You can't prove it a priori, meaning just in your head, the way you do math and logic without any evidence or sensory experience. But you also can't prove it a posteriori. You can't collect data and show that there's no evil demon. So he said it's a remote possibility, maybe, but it's a possibility. Let's suppose, just for the sake of argument, that this evil demon is real. There is a powerful evil demon whose whole goal in life is to trick you into having false beliefs. Why? Who's to say? Why are we going to sit here and wonder about an evil demon's motives? That's make them whatever you want. That's not important. The important thing is, for whatever reason, the demon's whole goal in life is to trick you into having false beliefs. So the demon causes you to hallucinate. The demon throws away your real memories and gives you a bunch of false memories. The demon clouds your judgment so that you are making bad decisions, and so you can't see clearly about whether or not all of your memories like make sense together. Sort of the way in a dream you don't know. It doesn't occur to you how weird it is. Your judgment in the dream about what is realistic and what's not gets clouded. That sort of thing. The demon might be doing that and clouding your judgment so you can't tell that this seems unreasonable. And so essentially, the demon is constantly deceiving all of your sense organs and your memory so that none of your memories are real and trustworthy. And your sensory perceptions, your sensory experiences are consistently false, deceptive, wrong, all of the time. So you think you're having all these experiences of the world, and you think you've had all these past experiences, but really, none of that is real. It's all false. It's all just hallucinations that the evil demon has shoved into your brain. You're just hallucinating constantly because of this evil demon. So nothing that you think is happening or has happened really is happening or really did happen. It's all a lie, past and present, because the evil demon is deceiving you all the time. Descartes thinks that such a demon is at least logically possible, meaning we can't rule it out just with logic alone. We sit with our eyes closed and we prove with just pure logic that the evil demon does not exist and we are not being deceived by an evil demon. Descartes thinks it's at least logically possible. It may be unrealistic, it may seem ridiculous, but it's logically possible. We can't prove through logic alone that there is no such evil demon. It's at least partially an empirical question, meaning you have to go outside of your own head and get data about it. Like, how strong is gravity? You can't sit and close your eyes and figure out how strong gravity is just through logic alone. You have to go out in the world and test some stuff. You got to run some experiments. You got to collect some data from the world. So Descartes thinks whether or not an evil demon exists can't be ruled out through logic alone. So it would be an empirical matter. We'd have to go out and get some data. But any data we get would have to come from our senses. And as we've been saying, this evil demon, if it's real, is deceiving all of our senses all the time. And so we can't rule the demon out by our sensory perceptions. It can't be ruled out by empirical evidence. Any perceptions you might have could just as easily have been caused by the demon. And so we can't rule it out with logic alone, and we can't rule it out with our sensory perceptions. So we can't rule it out empirically, meaning, or a posteriori, if you want to be fancy Latin about it. And we can't rule it out just pure logic and reason, or a priori, if you want to be fancy in Latin about it. And so we can't rule it out at all, Descartes thinks. We have no evidence at all that there is no evil demon. We don't have evidence that there is an evil demon, but we don't have evidence that there isn't one either. And without evidence one way or the other, we can't know one way or the other whether there's an evil demon. So since we have no evidence one way or the other, because all of our sensory experiences would be the same regardless, that means we can't know whether or not there's an evil demon deceiving us. You can't know for sure that there's no evil demon deceiving you all the time, always. To know that there isn't an evil demon deceiving you, you'd have to have some evidence that there isn't. But you have no evidence. You can't rule it out through logic alone, and you can't rule it out through empirical sensory experience. And so that means you can't rule it out at all. You have no evidence that there isn't an evil demon deceiving you. Therefore, you don't know that there isn't an evil demon deceiving you. But if you can't be certain that there's no demon, then you can't be certain that any of your perceptions are true. And that means that you can't have knowledge of the external world. If the demon were real, and we just said you don't know that it's not real, which means that for all you know, the demon might be real. And if the demon were real, all of your sensory perceptions, present and past, would be false. So if you don't know that there's no demon, then for all you know, all of your sensory perceptions are false. All of your information about the external world is false, for all you know. So all of your beliefs about the external world are based on your sensory perceptions, sight, sound, touch, etc. It's the only ways you have of finding out about the external world. And so if you can't trust your sensory perceptions, if your sensory perceptions are uncertain, then all of your beliefs about the external world are uncertain. If, for all you know, the evil demon might be real, then Since if the evil demon's real, all your sensory perceptions are false, that means for all you know, your sensory perceptions are all false. Which means for all you know, the external world looks wildly different than you think it does. Because if all of your sensory perceptions are false, then none of the information you have about the external world is true. So the external world could be very different than you think it is. So if you can't prove there's no evil demon, if you don't know that there's no evil demon, then you don't know anything about the external world. You don't even know that you have hands, or that you're a human being, or that there's any such thing as a human being, because that could all just be a lie fed to you by an evil demon. Descartes thinks. And so Descartes' evil demon is meant to show that we can't know anything at all about the external world. He thinks the dreaming argument shows you can't know that what's happening around you right now is actually happening, but you can still know that birds are real and you didn't make them up, because you know you've been awake sometimes, otherwise you'd have no idea what dreaming was, and that you couldn't even get the argument off the ground in the first place because you wouldn't know what dreaming was. But the evil demon argument is supposed to show that you can't know anything at all about the external world. All of your past and present experiences could be deceptions caused by this evil demon. And so Descartes doesn't believe that there is an evil demon. He's not trying to show that there really is an evil demon. Descartes doesn't think that there is an evil demon. But he thinks that you can't know that there isn't an evil demon. And that if you can't know that there isn't an evil demon, then you can't know anything about the external world. Because if there were an evil demon, all your beliefs about the external world are false. So if, for all you know, there might be an evil demon, then, for all you know, all your beliefs about the external world are false. Which is just a fancy way of saying you don't know anything about the external world. So our beliefs about the external world might be true. But even if they are true, the fact that we don't know there's no evil demon means that our beliefs about the external world don't count as knowledge, even if they're true. They are merely true beliefs. They are at best true beliefs. Our beliefs about the external world do not count as knowledge, according to the evil demon argument. Even if there is no evil demon and our beliefs about the external world are true, they still don't count as knowledge, because we don't know that there's no evil demon. Even if there actually isn't an evil demon, we don't know that. We can't prove that with logic or with evidence, empirical evidence. And so even if there really is no evil demon, we don't know that there's no evil demon. And even if our beliefs about the external world are true, we don't actually know that they're true. We don't know anything about the external world. And so the evil demon argument is not an argument that there's an evil demon. It's an argument that we don't have knowledge of the external world. And now some people think that the evil demon scenario is weird and far-fetched and has that very distinctly. Someone came up with this several centuries ago, when witch burning was a thing kind of vibe to it. So there's also a slightly more modern version, which we will look at now in the next video. It's called the brain in a vat scenario, and it's basically the Matrix. So we'll talk about that in the next video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.